My good friends, I am sure you've been asking yourself the question, if I'm to get a trust, how does it actually work? Well, today you are in for a treat because as you've been watching some of these videos that we've been doing on here, you can already see that you can set up the trust. We've given you indications on how to do that. And if this is your first time, my name is TJ, welcome. But the person that is going to help me to actually explain a little bit more the detail of how does it trust works. Today we're going to dive in a little bit deeper in terms of the ins and the outs of it. What should you do? What should you not do? What should you be worried about? All of those things when you are running a trust. Today, I bring you Pateka. She's our legal resident guest speaker. What does it mean? It means that she gets featured more than once. So welcome. Pateka, good morning. Good afternoon.
Good morning. Afternoon, and how are you?
Very well, thank you. So the golden question, Pateka, that people have been asking, should I get a trust? And we said yes, it's important for every household.
Yes.
And then they've been asking, so what is the ins and the out of it? How does it work?
Okay. Thank you so much, and also thank you for having me. I think what we maybe sort of do a recap on our previous video. Obviously we're not going to talk about all of them, but for the sake of this question, if we remember, we were talking about parties, we were talking about trustees, we were talking about beneficiaries.
Right.
And the most important thing was on the previous video, the understanding of who are you as a trustee and what are sort of your responsibilities as a trustee. And this whole part was coming together to what is it that you need to do in the administration of the trust.
Amazing, yeah.
Because the administration of the trust is, the excitement is now gone, the trust is now registered.
Right.
Now we need to get to the business of the trust in terms of what is it that you need to do as a trustee to make sure that you are running this whole trust according to the purpose in which you created it. If you remember in our previous videos as well, we mentioned that you are not creating it for yourself unless you are a trustee and a beneficiary.
Right.
You are creating it for the benefit of those people that you listed as your beneficiaries. Okay, so now coming to your question as to what is it, what are the ins and the outs?
This is the process now, right, of managing.
Yes.
So particularly I always say to people, when you are buying a property, it's an event.
Yep.
So creating a trust, it's an event. It starts and then it stops.
Yes.
And then managing a property is a process.
True.
And that's where you make the money.
Yes.
Right? Lifelong money for the next generation.
True.
And today you are also now saying, well, it is also a process managing
A trust.
a trust. And
Sure.
these are the processes that you're going to tell us
And
today.
again, yes, and again, the nice thing also about property investing
Right.
is that we always talk about a power team. And
Right.
what do you need to have as a power team? Same applies with this process when you are managing your trust. Who has to be there in order to manage this trust properly.
Right.
So the one thing that we mentioned in our previous video was a trust deed. So you've got a trust deed. The trust deed is like your constitution.
Right.
What will guide you in the management of this trust. So in terms of that guidance then, there are obligations that are listed there, there are powers that are listed there, there are responsibilities that are listed there. So that document is not a document that you receive as a copy, you keep it in a drawer. In the management of this trust, you need to make sure that you are making yourself a friend to that document so that it can help you and guide you in whatever it is that you want to do with the trust assets. Right?
You're shortly becoming an adult.
Yeah, but
You're adulting now.
you're added, the excitement of being in the youth stage
Yeah.
is now done and gone. Okay, so again, when I was referring to a power team, then now coming to what is going to be your power team, if I can put it in the inverted commas, in a trust management.
Right.
So number one is you need to have your accountant in place. So
Okay.
the accountant must be appointed, and that accountant needs to accept the appointment.
At what junction do you appoint an accountant?
You can appoint an accountant at the time, because what I always recommend is at the time you're registering your trust, already have your accountant appointed.
Right.
So that you don't get to wonder who do you appoint at the time. Well, let's say you want to buy an property within the trust. So now obviously an accountant has to be there, so that the accountant should know. And then in doing so, again, we'll talk about that. What is it that you need to do before you get to that transaction? So the accountant, you mustn't be in a position where you're still thinking, who do I appoint? So for me, it's always a situation, if I appoint the accountant at the time you're registering a trust, you must know who your accountant is.
So my good friends, some of you are already now thinking, I need to appoint an accountant, I need to pay them. No, my friends, you are appointing them. Yeah? Yes. There's no work at this time.
There's no, definitely not.
You are saying that tomorrow, when my business is now, you are my accountant, so can I appoint you? So don't come down, Karen. No payments at this stage. You are just appointing.
It's just the appointment for now.
Yeah.
Yes. And then have that person in your power team.
Right.
And then number one. And then number two, that person then will help you. One, on making sure that this trust is registered to the taxpayer.
Right.
So we need to register. Again, it must not be what you've just mentioned now. You think, I'm not going to pay SARS now. No. You only pay SARS if there's something that is happening where SARS needs to be paid.
If the business is making money,
yes,
or the trust now has assets in this transaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're talking compliance now.
Right.
What is it that you need to do to make sure that you are compliant? Okay, so we've got your accountant. Your accountant needs to advise you in terms of trust registration as a taxpayer. And then number three, you need to open the bank account.
Okay.
So that bank account, again, you need to have a resolution in which you need to sign as all trustees listed or appointed in your letter of authority, where you all need to decide as to who will represent the trust in the opening of that bank account.
Right.
So now that bank account, as again, some people, they've asked me, do you open a bank account now, or do you open a bank account later when something is happening on the trust? So sometimes it's best to just have it, but again, I must also make a mention that when you open a bank account, you need to know that there are bank charges. So again, I wouldn't say I recommend or I do not recommend. It's entirely on you on whether you would want to open a bank account now or you would want to open a bank account later. But the fact is a bank account needs to be opened on behalf of the trust. So as trustees, then you need to decide who will open the bank account on behalf of the trust, and that only happens in the form of a resolution. So there must be a resolution in place whereby someone is appointed to open the bank account. Again, you don't want a situation where you are opening a bank account later because now you are thinking, shit, I've been doing I've been doing this and this and that, and I forgot to open the bank account. Rather have it ready, and then you can now. And then again, your accountant is also there to guide you in terms of which type of bank account you can open in the meantime. And then also whether it will be wise in terms of opening the bank account now or opening a bank account later. Because that person again will help you to make sure that in terms of compliance, he's there with you, like he's working with you in this journey.
Patega, you spoke about the resolution. By the way, if you're here in the tribe, Patega is asking the question or giving you the options of saying, do you open the bank account later? Do you open it later? Now, I'm of the view that if you are here, you're already seeing that you can do something with the trust. You can do something with your business. So the whole idea is you wanting to get into business. So if you don't have the trust today, now you've opened up a trust, go and open the bank account. Show some commitment. Right? That's number one. Number two, be bank ready. What do I mean by that? Or let me rephrase that. Don't be bank ready, be deal ready. You are doing this because you want him to go into business. So for that reason, remove all the administration out of the way and be ready to do business. So you do not set up a shop on the corner and say, we'll hire the tomatoes when the people starts coming through. No, you bring the tomatoes in the room and you open up for business, and bingo, you're making money. So my friends, be business ready, right? Patega, you speak of resolutions. what is a resolution? Many of us, we don't know what resolutions is all about.
Okay. One of the other things I didn't mention is once a trust is opened, it's always important to have a trustee meeting.
Trustee meeting.
Yes.
Right.
So as trustees that are appointed, then you can have your meeting. What is always advisable is at least to have one meeting a year.
Right.
But again, it depends on what are the activities that will be happening within the trust. So
the lower the activities, the lower the meetings. The higher the activities, the higher the meetings. For alignment,
sure.
And for everyone to be in agreement.
That's correct.
Right.
That's correct. So it depends, but I always recommend that as soon as the trust is registered, do have a resolution in place.
Right.
That's when then you will, because the founder obviously will be there, and then you will decide what is it that you need to do within the trust. So meaning when you have these meetings, which is why it's recommended to have at least one meeting a year, whereby you can decide what's going to happen. So what I usually also recommend is we're obviously going to touch on that later, is if you have a company in place, you know when your company's financial year is.
Right.
So I always recommend that your trust must have the same financial year as your company.
Okay.
So that you don't have a situation where you're trying to be compliant with your company,
Yeah.
and then you will later be compliant with the trust. Rather deal with the compliance
All
at
at
the
once.
same
Yeah.
period.
Visit us once.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So that you should know that everything's done, and also to help your accountant, so that when your accountant deals with your company, then your trust is also dealt with all
Right.
at once. Yes. So have those meetings, and out of those meetings, that's when then you will discuss about the opening of the bank account. That's when you will decide about whether there's going to be donations to be received within the trust, whether you will decide if there will be assets to be purchased within the trust, whether you will decide whether there will be loans to be taken on behalf of the trust. So that meeting caters for those listed things. Whatever it is that you would want to do within that financial year on the trust, that gets discussed in those meetings. And then in that meeting, that's when then you will decide, okay, so in order for us to open this bank account, we are going to get Pateka to be our representative to open. So in order to do that, then you come to this part of the resolution, where in terms of this resolution, you're confirming your decision that you have taken. You
Right.
have taken a decision to do something, and then in order to confirm and to also appoint the person, you have to put it in writing. That's the resolution, whereby you all agree that, okay, this is the person and this is what we want to do.
Amazing stuff. My good friends, we are going to end it here today. And if this is your first time just coming through to this video and you've just stumbled upon it, this is actually a series. We started off right on top in terms of talking about what is a trust itself. And today I think we are on video maybe around about 5 or so of the entire series, and you can jump in onto the previous videos to catch up to where we are at the moment. And if you do have any questions, do not forget to put those questions in the comments. But above that, my friends, if you are looking to create a trust and you're like, I think I need to have this trust, I cannot help you, right? But I can help you with the contact details of Pateka, because she is the one who is eligible for creating this trust. Or if you are in trouble, you have created this trust and now it's been long sitting on your shelf, you don't know what the next is, and you're looking for help, reach out to us and we'll be able to help you. Until we see you on the next video, it is I, your boy, TJ. Boom boom!